People are making 30-second cinematic AI films that look like they were shot on a real movie camera. And once I reverse engineered how to make them, the whole process came down to a workflow anyone can use. So in this video, I'll show you how to take one plain idea all the way to a finished cinematic short. And at the end, I will give away all the prompts, tips, and tricks I used to make it. Before I open a single generating tool, the entire story of the film has to be laid out. Most people do the opposite. They jump straight into a generating tool and start generating videos and figure out the story as they go. And that's exactly why so many AI videos end up looking like a bunch of disconnected videos instead of a structured film. You will get the wrong character in the wrong scene and dialogue that doesn't line up. Plus, the locations also don't match. And you're having to make the whole thing up mid-generation every single time. So to skip all that hassle, I will create the storyline of our video first. To begin with, let's open Claude and paste this prompt into the prompt box. Then in the bracket, I'll fill in my own ideas, characters, and everything else in my mind. As you can see, it laid out everything in incredible detail. First, it gave me the full character list, each one with their age, build, face, and wardrobe. Then it gave me the locations and it broke the scenes down in the exact order I should generate them. It laid out all the dialogue too, plus the aesthetic we're going for. And right at the end, it even gave me the color grading directions. And we will build our assets by focusing on this plan, so the whole film stays connected as one continuous story instead of a bunch of random videos that were each made on their own. And the best part is I have already made every decision needed, so I don't have to juggle 10 different settings and get confused while I'm generating. But still, this is only a plan. Next, it should be executed in order. And to begin with, I will start with something that will make sure our video's character stays the same no matter how many different shots we generate. From here, everything I do will be inside Higgsfield. A normal AI generator just takes your prompt and gives you back a video, but Cinema Studio lets me control it like a real film director. I can choose the camera, the lens, and even the focal length. And I can fully set up the shot as if I'm controlling an actual film set. And if you want to follow along and make this for yourself, the link to sign up is down in the description. Next, I'll click into Cinema Studio from Higgsfield, and I'll make sure image is selected. The model is set to cinematic cameras by default, so I'll switch it to GPT Image 2 as our image generation model. I'll change the aspect ratio to 16:9 and the quality stays high, and then I'll paste in this prompt. As you can see, we've got a 3-part character sheet of our main male character. He's standing in 2 different poses, one from the front and one from the back. And right next to them, a detailed close-up of his face. Now our female character goes through the exact same steps with the same model and the same settings. The only thing that will change is her description. Then I'll generate her. As you can see, her generation also turned out really beautiful. And overall, the character sheet is pretty detailed, but generating them is only half the job. What makes them actually reusable is the next step. For every asset I make, I'll save it as an element and give it a name. Then it will show up under my elements. And from then on, I'll never have to describe that person again. I'll just type the @ symbol and pull the exact saved element straight into the prompt. That's the real mechanism behind keeping everyone consistent. The model isn't reading a fresh description and guessing each time. It's loading the same locked-in element I already approved and saved, so the character comes out identical in every video. And the same approach goes for our location too. So next, I'll build the location separately from the people in it. I'll paste in the prompt and generate. As you can see, we've got a very dark and misty park at night, and it looks pretty cinematic. So now my cast and the location are locked in, but a character sheet and an empty park are still 2 separate pieces. And next, I have to get them together in a scene. And the best way to do that isn't by jumping straight into video. Instead, I'll combine the images and bring them into a single frame first. And what that does is lock in everyone's placement before anything starts moving. So when I animate it later, the video model already has the exact positions to work from. And the only thing left for me to direct is the motion. I'll start with our male character alone on the bench. Then I'll paste in this prompt and hit generate. As you can see, he's sitting alone on one side of the bench with his coffee held in both hands. The lamppost is right behind him and the rest of the bench is empty. For the second image, I'll use the exact picture we just generated and give it to the AI as a reference. Then I'll paste in this prompt. And as you can see, our female character has been added into the picture. Giving the AI that first image as a reference is what keeps the whole set identical. So now we've got 2 almost identical frames, but these images have pretty normal color coloring on them. And before I turn them into videos, I'll have to change a few things first. The single biggest thing that makes this look cinematic isn't something I do in the video, it's changing how these images look first. I'll open the color grading panel from the toolbar at the top. Then I'll select the black and white film preset and leave its settings as they are. I'll let the film grain stay on, because the grain helps the scene achieve a natural cinematic look. Then I'll apply the exact same grade to both images and save them out as my new reference images. As you can see, both of the images now have a black and white filter, and overall, I like how it looks. And the reason I'm doing this first is because this method is far more reliable than just typing it into the video prompt to make the scenes black and white. On top of that, the contrast, the shadows, and all of the lighting carry straight from the images into the motion of the video, so the result comes out much better. Now, the cinematic look is locked into the references themselves, and every video I make from them will come out black and white. But right now, these are still images, and in the next part, we'll actually start to make them move. And there's a trick to making this whole shot look cinematic. It's all in how I set up the scene before I hit generate. First, I'll switch over to video mode in Cinema Studio. This is where I get to set up the camera myself. You can see all the options right above the prompt box. For the camera, I'll scroll down to fine film and an anamorphic lens at 35mm and set the aperture at f1.4. That f1.4 aperture blurs the background into a soft, out of focus look, so your eye goes straight to the characters, and the anamorphic lens gives it that wide, filmic feel. Next, I'll set the genre to noir, and the most important setting of all is the aspect ratio, which I will switch to 21:9. That's the same ultra-wide ratio they use in actual cinemas. It'll add black bars at the top and bottom of the video, and that alone makes the shot look way different from a normal video. Now, before I run any of these prompts, there's one more step that makes a big difference. Instead of pasting in a plain English paragraph, I'll convert each prompt I wrote into JSON first. And I'll do that with a free tool called videoprompt.studio. Converting them to JSON just structures the prompt so the model understands what we want to happen better, and that helps us achieve a more consistent result across the shots. I'll give you a link in the description for the tool, and it's completely free. With the settings locked in and the prompts converted, I'll start to generate the videos one at a time. For the first shot, I'll pull in my two color graded references, then I'll paste in the JSON prompt and hit generate. Overall, our video turned out pretty good, and I especially like how the camera cuts between shots and focuses on specific subjects like our female character in this one. It looks exactly like it's happening in an actual film. Then for the next shot, I'll change the duration and paste in this prompt. And keep in mind, all of these prompts are converted to JSON first.
So you have got anything new for me?
Next Tuesday. The target is going to be the mayor. You should be careful, Mr. Adam.
This video turned out pretty good too. The audio and the cuts in the middle are really good. But there's a little problem at the end. As you can see, the woman takes the wrong path and just vanishes into nowhere. So keep in mind that an AI model will always make small mistakes like this, and we'll just have to fix it later in the editing phase. And for our last shot, I'll keep the settings exactly the same and paste in this prompt. Our third video came out with pretty much no issues. Only the coffee cup appeared there without the showing when the character put it down, and the zoom out effect on the shots makes it look really good. The sound effects also match the whole vibe of the video, and just like that, our two images are now playing out in motion. But 3 separate videos still don't make a film. There are a couple of glitches to clean up, and one final step before it's ready to deliver. And this last part is what separates a few good AI videos from something that actually looks like a finished film. First, I'll bring all 3 videos into CapCut, which is a free editor. Then I'll drop them onto the timeline in order. Then I'll fix that glitch from earlier. I'll just trim out the few frames where the woman takes the wrong path, and the problem is gone. And that's the thing about AI videos. The editing matters just as much as the generating, because this is where you quietly fix every small mistake the model made. Then I'll line up the cuts with the dialogue and add a music track underneath to set the mood. Now, there's one problem left. All of this is still only in 1080p, so I'll run the exported film through Topaz Video AI to upscale it to 4K. I'll use the Starlight Precise model, which is built specifically for AI-generated video, so it handles these shots better than a normal upscaler. And here's the one setting that matters most. I'll keep the frame rate at 30 frames per second, because bumping it up to 60 frames per second makes it look like a live broadcast or a sports stream, not a film. And 30 frames per second is exactly what keeps that cinematic feel.
So you have got anything new for me?
Next Tuesday. The target is going to be the mayor. You should be careful, Mr. Adam.
And that's the whole thing. A plain idea taken all the way to a finished cinematic film made completely with AI. And the best part of this whole workflow is that almost all of it happens inside Higgsfield. Once your characters and elements are saved, a whole new scene only takes a couple of prompts and you can customize it however you want. Sign up with my link in the description and start building your own cinematic short today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.